Can I find a good returning house in any kind of market in the United States? Guys, welcome back to City by City Cash Flow. This is a series where people leave a comment in the comment section of this series and I try to figure out, based on what they request, the different real estate markets in the United States. Last time we did Charleston, West Virginia, which is the capital of West Virginia. We found some really interesting stuff. In today's episode, we're back in Virginia looking at Richmond. Richmond is a really cool market. Funny thing, it was one of the markets I was looking at before I started investing in Southern Virginia, and it was between this one, Roanoke, Lynchburg, and Norfolk. The reason why I did not choose Richmond is that the price ranges were a little bit higher than the other three. The fact is it is still a very good market, and looking at the numbers today compared to 3 years ago when I was deciding which market to choose, I gotta say that even though it is more expensive, it kept on appreciating at a higher rate compared to other areas I've been looking at. So still a very good market. Why is that? Well, first of all, we got the colleges. So you have an entrance and an exit of a big population coming in, a lot of money coming every year. Some of them end up staying because there's still a lot of jobs in Richmond. It's quite a big city. There's a lot of developing areas. And you're still relatively, I'm going to say relatively, although many of you will punch me in the face about this, relatively close to DC. I actually know people that that live in Richmond and commute to DC once or twice a week because of the work from home thing, or exactly the opposite, people that work and make a lot of money in Richmond but live in Northern Virginia, where I live. So to each their own. Fact is, it is close enough for Americans, which tend to be much more time on the road, let's say commuting to their work. It is still close enough to the bigger areas, the more popular areas like DC. With that said, let's hit record and let's look at the market, guys. This is Richmond right here. Just looking at prices and the amount of homes concentrated in an area, especially prices, you will immediately notice that northeast and southeast is the expensive area. Southeast, looking at prices, it seems like we have a lot of the larger single family homes. Northeast, we have a lot of the apartments, downtown, lots of stuff happening, the colleges and stuff. So it makes sense. If you look at, sorry, I was wrong, northwest and southwest. Northeast and southeast, which is these two areas here, is where we have a lot of the real estate investing action, which is again the areas we want to look at. Of course, knowing that this area here is the expensive area, we know that expansion will come from northwest or southwest going towards the east slowly. So preferably, knowing that the expansion goes that way, we want to hit areas that will be hit in terms of expansion let's say sooner as we can, still with good prices. So again, we want to be on this line here where the prices tend to drop a lot more compared to these areas right here. And this is where we're going to start looking. On the other hand, if we look at the southeast section, we see that houses are already much more expensive with fewer homes in the lower 200s, even in the 100s. So I'm gonna look at the cheaper area. I'm doing this research from the perspective of a broke investor or a broke first-time home buyer that wants to buy something that will appreciate and will make them money, whether they live in it or whether they want to invest in it to rent it out. Now, I already saved a house, which was probably the best one I found. If I can buy a single family home, I will always go for that because I have the land, I can do something with land, the house is mine, I have no neighbors, I don't have my tenants or myself hearing the farts of neighbors, and I don't have to handle an HOA. That is the main thing. The house I found is this area. If you're from Richmond, you're probably gonna tell me this is a very risky area, and I'll tell you, I am 28 years old, I'm young, I have a lot of investing time, and this is pretty much where I would get started, or at least get started at looking. And by the way, here we're looking at Zillow, we're looking at the MLS, we're not looking at many other sources that you have available, which I will mention later on. Anyway, this is a single family home, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom, very interesting, tiny. It is a ranch style house, so 1 floor, could be perfect for an older family, people that want to go upstairs, which is really good. If you look at it, yes, it is dirty. It has been abandoned for a while. It's not a big issue. I see siding is working. Yes, we will need paint outside to protect all this stuff. We will need to clean it. We will need to raise this, let's say, section here of the front porch. Is it a lot of money? This is stuff that I could easily do myself. If you want to delegate, it can be a couple of grand. If you do it yourself, it's probably less than 1,000. This is something you can do in 2 days. If you have a little bit of courage, I've done an entire house. So this is something you could definitely do yourself. I'm gonna say that you're gonna delegate it. Just the front, you could delegate to lower end contractor, easy to do for probably $2,000. The back end, I know that here, although I'm very happy to see a metal roof, which is what I really love because I know that thing will go forever. I know that here I will need some siding in this section of the house. Vinyl siding, it's not a big spot, probably less than $1,000. So we're at $3,000 in. The back porch is brand new. I actually like this. Either it's new or it's just painted. It looks good. I like it. I know that I want to remove all the carpets to unleash and unlock this hardwood floor, which looks beautiful if you leave sanded. And since it's 8,800 square foot, I know that with $3 a square foot, that's what I pay to my contractors to sand and redo the hardwood floors. That's another pretty much $2,000 expense. So we're $3,000, $5,000 in total. Repainting the house will be maximum $4,000. I feel honestly even $3,000. So we are $7,000 in. The kitchen will be just painting because we have more modern cabinets and we have a well-installed countertop. I would just paint it, change the hardware, that's a few $100, maybe change the appliances. I would fix this drywall issues here. I don't think it's water, I think it's just old because the house has been abandoned. I believe that if you really want to do a beautiful job, and now yes, we're going from $7,000 to $20,000, but in this case, if I were to delegate everything and I wanted to do a beautiful job to make it a really nice house, $20,000 that will be in. How much would I offer? The house has been for sale for 16 days. I know that the market is extremely slow right now, and I'm pretty sure this house, even if it is one of the cheapest houses in the area, will wait for a little bit. I would offer 110, 120 in cash. Let's say 110 in cash for this one here, with a maximum restoration of $20K. But if you really want to be conservative, let's even say $30K. Why $30K? Let's say I want to fix also the roof. I want to repaint the roof. I want to go overkill, even with the facade. Looking at the neighboring house, they look perfect. Let's say I'm delegating everything and want to make it perfect. I want to replace the wooden siding pieces that need to be replaced instead of just painting on top of them like the average homeowner does. Let's say $30,000. I have a house that I bought for 110, $30,000, 2.7K of closing costs because I'm paying cash. I'm renting it out for $1,400 a month. If we consider property taxes, property management, 8% of the total rent. If we consider insurance, which I go with OB insurance, I put a value which is the value of the building, and normally I can get around $360 to $400. Vacancy reserve of 5%, even though if I rent it at this rate, I'm probably going to be one of the cheapest homes in Richmond, single family homes, so I'm probably going to rent it very quickly. Maintenance reserve of 5%, even though I will have a fully restored house. So I'm being extremely conservative here. I know that I'm pretty much in the 1% rule because 140K is the price and 1,400 is the rent. We're 1%, maybe a little bit lower if you consider the closing costs. My, let's say, a net return will be, why is it 7.7%? It was 9%. What if I do 140? Right here, exactly, 9.57%, which I believe is a fairly good number. We are 10%, close to 10% net return, really good number. Yes, the S&P 500 will pay you 10% if you just abandon it there, but it won't pay you 10% dividend, because here's the cool thing, we didn't talk about appreciation. If you want to look at the market after a full-on restoration, you probably can sell this house. If you look at the past sales in the area of a well-conditioned home, you can probably sell the house for 180. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. This was sold for 200, now worth 250. I'm gonna go by the selling price in 2021, which was with lower interest rates, and now it says 250. I'm gonna keep it conservative and say, let's say it's worth 180. You merely made 40 grand of appreciation and a 10% return just in rent, plus a potential appreciation in the future as people flow in and invest money, which will be even more higher, compounding on your already made 40 grand. So if you were to put everything together, on average, you're definitely making more than 12% a year just in appreciation plus rent, plus net rent, which is amazing. Would I invest in this house if I had 150K cash? With my money, yes. This is not financial advice. This is just me. I'm a 20-year-old person with a lot of investing time in front of me, so I can take risks. I'll be fine with that. This is not for everybody. You gotta talk to a professional, you gotta talk to your realtor, you gotta make your decisions, and I'm more likely to invest in these areas here. Now, if you're from Richmond, guys, let me know if you would invest in this area. I'm pretty sure this is not the safest area, but I'm pretty sure that in the future, looking just at numbers and how they are expanding and growing in this area, this could be a good potential in the future. With that said, we went through the MLS. I tend to buy stuff outside of the MLS. If I know people, I tend to knock on doors, talk to people, call people, talk to wholesalers and stuff. But if you're lazy, even just doing a quick research on Facebook Marketplace, I mean, this one here, 125K, you have a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. So you got 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom more. It is in a riskier area. It needs to be gutted. So at least 70K of investment for a 1,480 square foot house, at least 70K of investment. My last full get out was 45K, but because I also worked in it and it was in a much cheaper area of the United States. However, this is something that you could potentially rent for more, and that will be worth more than 200K once fixed up. For 125, and because it's off market, I would probably offer 90 on something like this. But this is, of course, depending on the market, depending on the people. I don't know the area very well, but just knowing that it is off market, I know that I have much more room of negotiation. Guys, this is all for now. If you found value in this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want me to analyze your real estate market, leave a comment and I might do a video exactly on your real estate market. And I'll see you on to the next episode. Peace out.